Short slip roads. Oh, the joy. Now, the purpose, of course, of a slip road or an entry slip is to match the speed of the carriageway, to build speed and then fit in seamlessly into a gap. And yes, it can be frustrating if you're following someone that seems determined to get the max MPG out of their car and we all join at 45 miles an hour. But one thing I find particularly more frustrating is people that don't understand how to deal with short slip roads. Now, a short slip road, by my definition, would be any slip road that I cannot get up to the speed of the carriageway in which to join, and I now need to treat that differently. So let's start with a long time ago, a learner called Seth that I used to teach. Oh man, I miss you, Seth. He's joining the A11 here, and as you can see, it is a short one. So he comes around the bend, the sharp bend, under control, nice and steady, trying to get an early look at what's happening on the carriageway. This angle, this would be your first proper view of the slip road if you were doing it for the first time, and I can actually guarantee you that a Mazda 2 certainly cannot get up to the speed of the carriageway in the space we've got remaining. This is a give way line, so we must give way to anything that's already on the carriageway. We must make sure it's actually safe before we cross it. Some people don't seem to understand that. So Seth holds back, he keeps his speed low, and he waits until he sees a gap that he's happy with, and then, and only then, he accelerates firmly to start matching the traffic. Notice something important here. Nobody in lane 1 has had to slow down. Nobody is forced to move over. Yes, some drivers choose to move over to lane 2, but that's their choice to try and be helpful. We haven't forced them to do it. Seth hasn't pushed his way in, and that is how it should be done. Here's another example, bigger gap this time. Again, nobody is forced into a sudden lane change. I can almost guarantee that the 6-car pile-up that Seth and I actually, while our time together, we passed a 6-car pile-up on the dual carriageway, and it was this junction here, and it will be this kind of action that causes that kind of incident. The crucial bit, planning properly on the slip road so you don't make others feel impulsively that they need to move over to accommodate you. When you're on the slip road, it is your responsibility to join into traffic, not the other way around. This is the short one in Norwich, and this is even shorter than the one I've just demonstrated. My learner demonstrates holding back until the right gap appears. This example might look harmless, but notice the van. The van driver shouldn't feel compelled to react in this kind of way. That kind of pressure is exactly what leads to the incidents that we've just mentioned. So once again, my learner waits, then accelerates decisively when the moment is right. Nobody is forced into anything. Other drivers are making their own choices, not reacting to ours, and that is the key difference. Now, sometimes other drivers don't make it easy. So in this clip, the van completely blocks the view. I can't see anything from the passenger seat, and I'm now relying on a learner telling me lane 1 is clear. Watch the van driver's reaction when we don't just plant the accelerator and throw ourselves onto the carriageway. You can see it's not clear yet, so we wait. As I said to my learner at the time, I think if I was the van driver, I'd be holding back a little bit more and maybe keeping slightly to the left to let you have a better view of the carriageway. But of course, that would require thinking about other people, wouldn't it? Yeah, this driving instructor, I think they're onto something. You can see them holding back on the bend, preventing the car behind from blocking their view. That's something I now pass on to my learners as well. It's a really good way to manage the space around you, control the person behind you, and improve your view of the carriageway. I just went and had a quick go at that one myself, and as you can see, I have taken the audio off because I was singing away to myself. Hey Barbie, and it's good with everything. But as you can see, I actually had to stop and wait for a suitable gap. I like to try and use my centre mirror more than my right in these situations because it tells me the good distance. But remember, you may have to stop on slip roads. The longer ones, I've never had to stop on one of those. Shorter ones, actually quite frequently. Hey Barbie, and it's good with everything. So let me know, in your area, are there any short slip roads that catch people out? Do you approach them like my learners and I do, or do you just hit the pedal and hope for the best? Do you see a problem with people being forced to move over for you? And when you join in, do you think about the people in front of you, how you might be obstructing their view? And finally, do you, like I do, think that short slip roads should actually come with a warning sign? Let me know in the comments.